All right, we're live. Happy holidays. It's Prop the Mic, PTM, coming to you with the simulcast for a nice Friday NBA slate. As always, today's podcast is presented by Props.cash. We 100% could not do what we do without Props.cash. So if you think you're ready to level up your prop betting game too, use code PTM at sign up to get 25% off your first month. How's it going today, Dave? You got that holiday spirit in you?
I do. I was whistling some Christmas music before we got on here. So
March
I'm
of the
ready.
Wooden Soldiers.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what that's from. Yes,
That's uh that's got to be
that's an
probably
old
one of the
school.
worst.
It's an old school
That's
reference. Yeah.
that's I don't know why that was in my head. But no, I'm ready. I think this is a great time of the year. Everybody's like, hanging out with family, lots of great sports on. And for the most part people are done working already, so this is going to be a good next week. I'm excited.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
All right, so you want ready to just dive into today's slate. We got six
Let's
games on in the
let's do it.
NBA. Let's do it.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, so let's start. We're going to jump around from game to game a little bit, but let's start with that Atlanta Miami game. Miami's minus 1.5 at home, and the total's 237 in that game. Tom, let's hear what you got on this one.
We have the legend Arnold Palmer looking over us today, so I'm feeling good
That
about these picks.
that can only be a good omen right there.
Right? I think so. So all right, let's and I think no better person to start off this podcast with than Mr. Clint Capella, the ultimate PTM guy. I'm looking at his rebounds today, over 9.5. He's actually done this in 4 straight games against the Heat. He had 12 against Miami on November 11th in a game without Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is out again today. He's a Friday guy. He's cleared this in all 4 games he's played on Friday this season, averaging 13.8 rebounds per game. And just in general, he's cleared in 6 of his last 7 Friday road games, averaging 11.7. So, Clint, I don't know. The TGIF Friday is in the air with Clint Capella, and he loves to get those rebounds on Fridays. What do you think, Dave? You're the Clint whisperer.
The Clint Whisperer. Yeah, let me just little educational pause there. How does Tom know this? So Tom used to like spend probably like 45 minutes before some of our podcasts, like going and researching how players performed on certain days of the week, pulling out the logs out of ESPN. I would be like, why did you do that, man? But now it's just one click of the button in props.cash. You just come down here. You can see whatever day of the week it is that will show up. You click on Friday, and then that shows you Clint's performance for this year, or we can look in past years too. But this year in particular, the man is getting up for Fridays, 13, 11, 16, 15. I could see Clint being a big fan of Christmas. So I could see him being extra pumped for
Well,
this Friday.
Switzerland is Christmas is it's a big deal in Switzerland.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yes, I love Clint tonight. I mean, I love Clint every night. I do have to say his scoring of late though has been
I know. I
pretty
know.
monstrous as well. So but you like the rebounds over the points, right?
Yeah, I think so. I like he doesn't have that trend against Miami with the points, although he's been good with the points lately. It's
Yeah.
and also didn't have that Friday trend, so that's why I went with the rebounds.
Okay. Yeah. What's he done on rebounds the last few? Yeah. So yeah, this is saying 10.5. You put this out at 9.5, right?
9.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So Caesars has the best odds, minus 133 at this point. So yeah, I like that play. I think it's pretty solid. All right, who else do you have on the Hawk side?
Let's go to Sadiq Bey, another guy who's been great against Miami. He's cleared his point line, 12.5 points in 4 of his last 5 games against Miami. The only one that he missed was the game this season, but he was 4 for 4 last season, averaging 15.6 points per game. He's also 6 of his last 9 games with 1-day rest on the road. So this Saddiq Bey points was popping out in our model. And then he had a nice trend against Miami here. So going to go with it.
Yeah, and his minutes, we sent this out on X a couple days ago. That's like a little mystery question. But if you look, his minutes have been pretty solid of late. Really, Jalen Johnson kind of went out around here, and his minutes have just been, let me just zoom in the last like 10
trending
games.
up since then.
Yeah, trending up since then. He did have kind of a down game against Houston, but yeah, I think this is a good spot for Saddiq. I think his rebounds are probably also pretty good today. That's been a fairly impressive trend with the increased playing time. His rebounds have been over 5.5 in 7 out of the last 10 as well. So I think points, rebounds, I think PR might also be a good spot for him as well
Yeah.
in this game. I mean, that's probably even more impressive there. Let's see if we can get it for 17.5 anywhere. No, it's all up to 18.5. Okay. That's good. And he also was popping. If you saw on X, we put out our alt line heroes for today. The guys all who have 85% hit rates on their props. If you alt them down, Saddiq Bey was on that list. If you put Saddiq Bey for 4 rebounds, it's basically like a home run. So I think that's also nice for any sort of parlay you want to put.
Nice.
All right. It wouldn't be a podcast. Oh wait, hold on. We got one more pick on the Atlanta side before we move to Miami, right?
Yes, Trae Young. His assists were popping out in our model here, but his rebounds also look very nice. So I saw his rebounds on the road this season. Look at his rebounds on the road. Let's start there, and then we'll make our way over to assists.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and clearing it by quite a bit. So I like pairing actually the rebound and assist together today, though I think the rebounds, at 2.5 is nice, but you're paying some juice, right? I think it's a little pricey at 2.5.
Yeah, minus 160 on FanDuel is the best you can get it at this point. But
yeah, so I like the increase. So many 4s and 5s. You got a 6 in there. So my play today is to go over RA with Trae Young, 13.5. He's gone over in 5 straight games, averaging 17.6 RA. He's cleared in 2 of his last 3 against Miami. There you go. And then he's also a Friday guy. 5 straight Friday games now. He's cleared this line, averaging 16.8 RA. In his last 5 games played on a Friday. I believe 4 of those were this season and 1 was last season.
Yeah, 3 for 3 this season.
And, 3 for 3 this season.
And 5 straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty good. He definitely seems like a Friday guy.
Yes.
I wouldn't really say Trae Young's like a Christmas guy, though. Doesn't seem like he'd be that into Christmas.
He's got a little Grinch in him.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah,
I like
he does.
Trae Young, though. I feel like he gets a bad rap. He's just a hard-nosed player. He likes to
Ice Trae, as my son
Ice
says.
Trae, right? I don't know why people hate him so much. So yes, so we're behind Trae. I think that's nice. I think you offer a lot of combinations there. You could alt down his assists if you're worried about the assist line itself. You could alt that down to 10 or 9, and then put it with his rebounds. That'll probably get you a plus money play. But I think the RA is a nice little sneaky way of getting there. And quite honestly, I mean, look at his last 2 games. He had 15 assists and 14 assists in the last 2. So, he might just clear this RA line just on his assist alone.
On assist alone, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a nice little sneaky way of padding it in case he gets like 10 or 9 or 10 assists. So I think that's good.
Yeah, and you saw the rebounding output was high with a ton of 5s in there. So that could be another way. You just take a plus money bet on Trae to have over go to over 3.5, over 4.5 assists. Rebounds. That's
Yeah,
nice too.
and the spread in this game, it's a 2-point game, so this will probably be a fairly competitive game. Um, in those types of games, Trey Young is usually playing like 36 plus minutes more, right? So, his hit rates for rebounds get up to, regardless of location, get up to 64+% with 37 plus minutes. So that's 38 minutes, he's up to 75% hit rate. So if it is one of those close games, I think he's going to be out there a lot, just scooping up rebounds. All
Nice.
right.
All righty.
So let's talk about Miami, right? There's two guys you love on Miami to talk about. One you're always skeptical about. So let's start with Bam. Um, he sometimes is great, sometimes lets us down. But what do you like on Bam today?
So what I liked was his points and rebounds were what was sticking out in our model here. And I ended up going with his points. It's 22.5. And the reason why mainly just came down to the last two games he played against Atlanta without Jimmy Butler. He scored 26 points on November 11th of this season and 32 points last season in two games against Atlanta without Jimmy. So that's everything we're going on. I went with the combined, him popping out in the model and that nice little trend. So that's it. What do you think?
I honestly don't trust Bam above 20 points. Like I just think no. I mean it's not like just a gut feel. I mean look at the data, right? Like he kind of gets capped at like 22, 21 a lot. But I mean, look, we can go basically here on props like cash, bring us down to 20 points, right? You get them down to 20 points, you're at a 78% hit rate. That might even be better.
So maybe we do 20 points and 8 rebounds. I don't know what it needs to be at. But
yeah, that's the direction I would go. Or quite honestly, I wouldn't even. I mean, you're right. His points and rebounds were both popping on the model. Let's see what he did against Atlanta for rebounds. Yes, if you can get like 20 and 7 or something like that, I don't think that'll be there. But don't force it. Like if you're trying to create a parlay, like we just gave you 3 or 4 other players that you can put this with. So I think Bam's in a great spot to get 20 points tonight. I think that's one leg of a parlay. I would probably combine that with Sadiq Bey or Capella or Trey Young or something like that.
Trey Young rebounds. There you go.
Yeah, you could do Young rebounds. Young for 2.5 rebounds. Bam for 20 points. That'll probably get you.
That's plus 135.
Right. It's not bad, right? So I think that's better. And
I agree with you. I think that might be a better way to play this.
But centers versus Atlanta is a good matchup. But it always surprises me considering that Capella's there and he's pretty good defensively, but they just they're not that great defending the center position. So. All right, let's get to your favorite guy in this game, Mr. Tyler Hero. Let's go.
So his points and rebounds were what was popping out in the model, but sometimes you have to do a little bit more digging there. So Jimmy's out. So look at his assists in games without Jimmy. And tell me if this is the angle you'd take, even though it's the other two categories are the ones popping in the model here.
Oh, sorry.
Assists, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 11. His last 11 of 15 without Jimmy, averaging over 6 assists per game. He had 10 assists against Atlanta without Jimmy on November 27th of last season. Atlanta's a nice, team. Or I should say, Atlanta's one of the teams that you can look at games from last season because they have a very similar roster. And he had 7 assists in that game against Orlando 2 days ago. When Jimmy was out as well. So I think this is a nice, I could see if Jimmy stays out any longer, I could see that ticking up over the next game or two. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's nice. I just added without Butler, with Lowry, and with Bam, because those are all players that are constantly in and out of the lineup. So it actually, I think it tightened it up a little bit even more. So I think he's got a 9 for 14 or 9 for his last 13. That seems like a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. And Atlanta, this like we said to start, the Atlanta's got super fast pace, 237 points. Their defense is pretty trash. Like
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be lots of scoring in this game. And I think Hero will be touching the ball quite a bit. So very encouraging that his first game back. Oh, not his first game back, but his I
That
think
was
his
the
first game
second game
back,
back.
second
Yeah.
game back, but first game back without Butler, I believe.
Yes.
He had 7, so I think
Yeah.
that's really encouraging. I think he's in a good spot to go over there.
Yeah. The ball's going to be going through him.
Okay, very good. That's a lot for this one game. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Brooklyn and Denver. Denver's here in New York. They're minus 4.5 on the game. Total's 231.5. What do you like in this one?
All right, let's start on the Denver side. Longtime PTM favorite, Mr. Kentavious Caldwell Pope, KCP, to those who know him well. What was his prop here? Sorry, points. I believe it's at 8.5.
Yep, 8.5
Yeah.
points.
Do love it at 7.5. If you could get it for 7.5, jump on that. But even at 8.5, he's cleared this in his last 8 of 11 on the road, last 16 of 21 overall. And then the reason this was really popping out in our model, wings against Brooklyn have been crushing 28th overall in points per minute allowed to the wing position. So almost dead last. So this is looking like a nice matchup for KCP here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Again,
I never have to convince you of a KCP bet.
No, definitely not. I mean, the pace of this game should be really fast. Brooklyn tends to move the ball pretty quickly. Minutes are, I think, key for KCP to hit this, right? So I didn't really dig into why, his minutes against Houston and Chicago and Dallas were down, but encouraged that his last game against Toronto, he was back up to 32 minutes. I believe everybody played in that game, right? This isn't an issue with like Murray coming in and out of the lineup, is it?
Not sure,
but different position, right? So, and I think he's projected. He's still in the starting lineup, if I'm correct, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's good. I think he'll be in a good spot to get 9-10 points tonight. So I like this one.
All right. Now let's go.
Right, let's talk about the big man.
Yeah. It's big man time. So Jokic RA is what was sticking out in our model here. His line's 21.5. Look at his last 3 games against Brooklyn: 25, 27, and 31. All were mid-March of last season. So it was with this current Nets roster. It wasn't the KD Kyrie Nets. Jokic also seems to be a Friday guy. I wouldn't expect that from him, though. 8 of 12, 8 of his last 12 Fridays, averaging 24.5 RA over his last 12 games on Fridays.
Yeah. That's impressive. Let's see. Is it more of the rebounds or more of the assists? It seems more consistently rebounding. Okay. And why do you like the rebound, the RA versus the rebounds per se?
Let's see here.
Yeah, his rebounds kind of go up and down a little bit. And so do his assists. I think putting them together kind of levels it out.
Yeah, I guess that was my thinking. I'm trying to remember here. Yeah.
I mean, you do have Aaron Gordon, who I think is questionable for the game. So certainly if he's out, Jokic's rebounding will go up. You have Michael Porter, who, is good for 6 rebounds a game. Jamal Murray's good for 4 rebounds a game. So you do have like KCP will get 2 or 3. So you do have some good rebounding around Jokic. So that's why it's always a little scary to play like his rebound line at, what was it, 12.5.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a good matchup, I think, for like a combined stat, and I could see him going off.
Yeah, because I feel like this is type of like this could be a game where he has 12 assists or something like that.
Yeah.
So we actually got a question here on X from Shifting Gears. Do you like Jokic triple double?
Love it.
I think this is a great spot to throw something on a Jokic triple double. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look at the last 3 games against Brooklyn. He had 10 plus assists,
yeah,
right? And he had 15 plus rebounds. So,
yeah.
and I don't even have to look at the points, right? I mean, he had 20, a minimum of 22 points. So, to me, it's almost a waste. When you're going to put it in a Jokic triple double, you can either bet it through the triple double,
Hmm.
or I would almost
Make it yourself.
make it
Put the
yourself
points and bring the
and
points
start
up.
with a minimum of 20 points,
Yeah.
because I bet you'll get higher odds on that. Um, I guess that could be a little risky though. I'm looking at the last. That's surprising.
Couple low outputs there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got tossed from this game in Chicago, right? So
Yeah.
let's throw that one out. I don't know what happened in this Dallas game, but if you throw those 2 points out, I mean, if he gets tossed out of a game, you're not getting it. So, but yeah, 20 points kind of seems to be it. So if you want to get a little greedy and take that whatever plus
20, 10, and
100,
10.
20, 10, and 10, you putting that together there?
Yeah. Let me see what it is.
I bet that'll buy you another, take you maybe from plus 100 to plus 150 or something like that. But
Let's see.
you never know with Jokic. Jokic, sometimes a triple double for Jokic, you might even be getting that at like minus 150. It depends.
20, 10, and 10 for Jokic is plus 138.
Okay. And the triple
See what
double
his
by
triple
itself?
double is. Triple double by itself is plus 125. Almost the same.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's not
That's
worth.
baked
That's
in
not
there.
worth. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
already baked in there. So yeah, the only other advice I would say on the triple doubles is shop them around. Go to multiple books if you have access to them, and make
Yeah,
sure
that's
you get the
definitely a
best
good one
value,
to shop around. Yeah.
because you can get easily plus 20 by going somewhere else. So I think that's good. All right, so that's it for that game. Let's move on to Dallas Houston. Houston's -8, totals 224.5. Let's start on the Houston side. Let's start with Jabari Smith Jr., who you were on the other day in the Props.cash article and absolutely
Yes, sir.
crushed his prop, right? His PR. So what do you
Yes.
like today?
So that's actually what's popping out again today. PR. A little bit nervous about. So Luka's out, Kyrie's out, Lively's out. Like the whole team is out tonight. So I think with a young team like Houston, though, that's okay. They'll still get these younger guys will still get some good run. I think, right? You on the same page with me there?
You worried about a blowout or what?
Yeah, blowout. Yeah, I mean, there's no Luka, no Kyrie, no Lively. I mean, that's 3 of their 5 starters out. I think even more like Exum's out as well, I believe.
Yeah, I'm looking at Houston's results this year and seeing if they actually have been in many blowouts, right? Yeah, they blew out the Kings 2 games in a row. Yeah, so that is definitely, and they blew out the Lakers. So they went on a little hot streak where they were blowing out a bunch of teams. So that is definitely possible in this game. But what is the line for PR for Smith?
So I actually just like his point. I was going with just his points here. It's 14.5. He's cleared it in 3 of his last 4 against Dallas. And the reason him and the next guy is Şengün, I'll get to. I have a play on Şengün as well. Bigs against Dallas, just really popping out in the model here. 22nd in points per minute allowed, and that's only going to be better without with half of these guys out today. So I think they're both in great spots here.
Yeah, let's look at Şengün.
Yeah, I like Şengün over 19.5 points. He had 31 against Dallas on November 28th, so less than a month ago. He's also a Friday guy. 4 of 6 Fridays this season. He's cleared, averaging 20.8 points on Friday games. So love the 2 big men against Dallas in this spot.
Yeah, if we look, Yeah, how does I would imagine he's got pretty good home away splits too. Is that correct?
Shingun?
Uh,
Yeah,
no,
I think he's
not so
better at
much.
home. No?
No, it's not in the last 10, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, no, I agree. I think these are both really good spots, and I think both will cash if the game stays, to a 10, 15 point game. Um the spread is -8. So if you're really worried about it too, another alternative strategy is to hedge your bet by putting a Houston -8 um behind it too, right? So you could basically put out one of these players as a player prop and then also put a separate bet on Houston -8.
Mm,
This way, if you have a blowout, you kind of have a hedge behind that if you lose it. So just another
yeah.
betting strategy to try to mitigate your loss if it does become a 20-point game.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, let's move to Golden State, Washington. Golden State's at home -12. Talk about another potential blowout. Total
Yeah.
11 in this game is 246. What do you
Yeah.
like in this one?
All right, we've spoken about this before. Friday night Steph is 100% a thing. His points over 29 and a half. Last 8 of 11 Friday games. And he actually had 29 in 2 of the 3 misses there. So if this line was 28 and a half, he would have cleared this in 10 of his last 11 games on a Friday.
Wow.
So yeah, that's amazing. Also, 7 of his last 9 at home, averaging 32 points per game at home this season. There you
Yep.
go. And then also, as would be expected with an older player like Steph, 8 of his last 9 games on 2 days rest, averaging 33.3 points per game when he has 2 days rest over his last 9. A lot of nice trends there. So I think this is a home run.
I don't really buy that Steph needs rest narrative though. This guy's in better
Yeah,
shape than
he
every
is.
every 22
He
year old
runs
in the
more than
league.
anybody else. Yeah.
Exactly. But yes, it doesn't mean he doesn't need to recover. Uh yeah, no, it seems good. I guess has he played have they played Washington yet this year? Let's see. No, not yet.
No.
Oh, let's get the home filter on. Yeah, I mean last time he played Washington, which was a different team, he put up 41 points, so that's not that useful of a data point, but yeah, no, it seems good. This does kind of seem like a potential blowout game where Steph could get some rest. That would be my only
Why do we
caution.
think it's
But
such a potential? Like Golden State is not good, right? I mean, they besides Steph, Washington's really they're really that much better than Washington. I don't know, especially without
um,
Draymond there.
yeah, I mean, Golden State has been playing better of late.
Hmm.
I think that's the reason why this is a 12-point spread.
Yeah,
Trying to see who else from an injury standpoint, if there's anybody else who's out for Washington that might be causing this to let me just check the injury report real quick. No, you got a starting lineup for
yeah, it's good.
Washington: Jones,
Yeah,
Poole, Denny, Kuzma, Gafford, so that's normal. Yeah.
it is a good point on X. Someone B Sanger just pointed out Washington is on a back-to-back today, so another reason why that line is
Yeah, yeah,
high like
exactly.
that.
All right, good point. Good call out. All right, who else do you like on the Warriors?
All right, let's look at the guy whose minutes have been up lately, over the last 6 games or so, Jonathan Kuminga. Both his points and his rebounds were popping out in the model here. I actually like both. Um, his points over 13 and a half. He's cleared in 4 of his last 6 games overall. And you can't get a better matchup than this. Forwards against Washington, dead last. They've allowed the most points per minute to opposing forwards this season. And it doesn't get much better if we shift over to rebounds. His line's 4.5. He's also cleared this in 4 of his last 6 since the minutes have ticked up. And forwards against Washington, 28th overall in rebounds per minute. So 2 nice spots. I guess, I forget exactly what my reasoning was. I do like these separate as opposed to a PR play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kaminga's in a nice spot in this game. Even in a blowout, he'll probably get some extra run. So
All right. I'm just trying to put together a little Kaminga parlay as we speak. See what that yields.
point rebound parlay,
Yeah, I think
like 10 points, 4 rebounds.
that's exactly what I was looking at. On our alt line analysis that we sent out this morning, Kaminga 10 points was one of the ones that pops out at home with a really high hit rate. So 10 points, I think, is a great spot for him in this, especially in this matchup. If you put those two together, at least on FanDuel, it's minus 153. So that's probably not enough on itself, but you could, tack something else on there as well. So I think I think he's a great spot to target though today for straight up 10 line on points or something with the rebounds if you want to alt down the points.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Philly. We got
You sound not so
Toronto.
excited to talk about Philly.
No, I am. I am.
Okay.
I am. Nicholas Batum is out today, so that makes me less of a Philly fan. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
gotcha.
We got Toronto at the Sixers. Sixers are minus 8 points at home. Totals 230.5. Where do you want to start on this one?
I like the discount we're getting on Embiid assists right now, down from the 6.5 we were seeing it at to 5.5. And in the 2 games he played against Toronto this season, he had 7 and 8 assists in those 2 games. So love the matchup here. Love the discount we're getting. Love seeing Joel at 5.5, which seems weird to say, but yeah, from where it was. So, and I think this matchup's great, and that's exactly what was his points and his rebounds and assists were popping out in our model here. But I love this success against Toronto with the assists this season, so that's why I went with that.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm a little concerned because in the last 10 games, I mean, just look at his scoring, right? It's like 50, or look at the last 8 50, 38, 34, 41, 35, 42, 40, 50. He's just not really passing the ball quite as much. So,
Yeah.
I personally think it's a little risky to go back to it, even though he had success early in the season. But I do hear what you're saying. It's definitely a great matchup for it, but it does seem like he's kind of shifted his mentality in the last week to try to like lock up the MVP before the All-Star break. Right? I mean, he's really like just doing some
Yeah,
incredible.
look at all those 40s.
It's
That's
insane.
crazy. Yeah.
All right, let's hear his from an alt line standpoint, his rebounds at home was also really great to include as any leg. And you said it was popping in our model as well.
Yep.
Him to get 10 rebounds is a nice little I think it was like minus 200 or something like that. Nice little addition.
That is a nice
parlay.
leg. Yeah.
10 straight games, like you can see. Hold on, let's drop this down so we get more green. 10 straight games, and then if we look even at home, 9 for the last 14 for 15 this season, so 93% hit rate. So I think that's a great leg for this game, especially against Toronto. Okay,
Nice. Yeah, that's a great leg for some alt line parlay there. I love that.
yeah. All right, let's talk about Toronto. Who do you like over there?
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder points and assists were popping out in the model. I like his points over 12.5. In the 2 games he played against Philly this season, he had 13 and 15. So that's been great. But then look at his last 10 road games.
Oh, sorry, this was home. That's everything, and then let's filter on away. Wow.
9 of 10 on the road, averaging 17.5 points. So love this. He got over it in both games against Philly earlier this season. So yeah, his minutes are good, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand because his hit rates in the last, it must have played, in the last 10 games, they've played quite a few at home.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand if there's like a negative pattern around his minutes, but he's been getting 29 plus minutes every game. His minutes on the season is 33. really have no idea why this guy performs so much better on the road. But
Yeah.
on the road, he's averaging less minutes than uh, 30, 31 minutes
Yeah.
on the season, and he's got a crazy hit rate of 9 of 11 this season. So don't really understand that, but it does seem like a really good pattern, and seems like he's got a good history with Philly. So yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
All
good.
right. One game left to cover and one pick only in this game. We got Phoenix, Sacramento. Sacramento's -3.5. Total is nice, 242.5. What do you like in this one?
So I ended up going with Booker rebounds and assists were what was popping out. I ended up going with his rebounds over 5.5. On 2 days rest this season, he's had 7, 11, and 10. The 10 and 11 were both with Durant in the lineup. So some of his bigger rebounding outputs. I was worried if it's been so much that lineup's been so much in flux. I was worried that it was without Durant, but it was with Durant in those 10 and 11. So he's got a great matchup as a combo guard against Sacramento, rebounding. So let's go. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I don't really like. He seems to be able to put up 7+ rebounds any game he wants, but it just seems like he kind of like
It's up and
disappears
down.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's up with this? 2, 4, 3.
I
Like
think
so, he's only
five's a
hit.
nice leg. 4 or 5 is for sure a nice
Yeah,
leg to a yeah.
4 was I think popping on our alt line model. So yeah, so I like it. I would probably take it down though and include it in a parlay just because of his inconsistency. But yeah, like you said, his overall for the season is only 39%. But even if you get it down to 5, that jumps up to 61%. If you pay a little bit extra juice and get it at 4, now you're talking about 83%. So that's a nice oh, and I think if you filter this to 4 on the road, which I think is what we put out, then you're talking about an 88% hit rate, 7 of 8. So I like it. I think it's a good spot, but I would probably alt this one down a little bit.
All right. That's okay. I think we can cook up something nice here. Nice little alt line parlay between several of these that we put out here. So stay tuned. See what we got coming out on X. We'll post a couple of our favorites up there. And anything else, Dave?
No,
No.
I'm excited for the games tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yeah,
We're gonna do a little.
we'll do an NFL pod. We'll do our NFL pod tomorrow, and then we're shooting for a Christmas Day, a pod for the Christmas Day games as well. So stay tuned. We'll get out on X when those will be. But looking forward to it. Got a little shopping to finish up, so we'll do that. We'll get a few picks up, and then head out and get some of that shopping finished up. But everyone enjoy the games. Thanks for joining us. Good comments, and let's all make some money tonight.